Okay, this is not something new. I mean, we have been chatting about this for a while. Even before I went on the trip, we spoke about it. So, we have been talking about that this is a wave four that we are working on. That this kind of started here or started here, and we were looking at somewhere, in this area, around 5780 and all that to for it to come at the max basically. And when the last sell-off came last week, I think it was Thursday, this one, on that same very day we had an expectation that okay, probably we'll make a new low here and complete this correction and go up, right? That's what we were thinking. We were thinking that okay, it makes sense that this is an A, B, C sort of a leg, so it should complete, and then we can start the incline. But that did not happen. They did a double bottom on SPX or a minor low on SPX. They did not even made a low on US 500, and it kind of rallied up. Now this doesn't make much sense. I mean, though this was a resistance and it kind of popped partially, and then we saw another decline. Right now, the overall concept still remains the same. That okay, we are still considering this as wave four, and the only thing that I wanted to point out there was that the SPX had made a new lows, but US 500 did not. So that could potentially lead to another low on Monday to sweep below this point, and then start bouncing. And at this point, there's nothing again but 5773. It could be 5780, which I was saying, or 5773, somewhere around that. But if you just compare this with SPX is already into the new low territory. So US 500, when it dipped, it kept dipping after hours. On this day, I think it was in Friday, probably of 20th of December, whatever it was, it kept dipping after hours. But of course, SPX stopped at 4 Eastern. So that's where we have a new low here, and the level that we were looking at it to test in the morning was 5784-ish, this particular candle, and it again kind of bounced without closing that gap, um, but did not kind of close above 60. So that was the problem, and if it pushes down, I think this is where it pushes. Now it's fine to just bounce from 5787, may do 5773, like I said on US 500. If we go there, even 5783 will make a new low below this, because the last low on US 500 was 5796. So any low below this is fine, just to kind of sweep the liquidity and then move up, right? So that can still happen. It's not very far. One more gap down, and it could be done. Um, it could be done, and then again, if this is the pattern that's going to play out, uh, then we are looking at building up another five waves from here, right? So potentially the first one should be sharp, maybe testing somewhere around 5981. I don't think it'll be as small as 5920. But these will be the critical levels. So let's say the bounce comes from this level. Let me just remove this. Right. So the bounce level that we are looking at from here is either 5922 or potentially get into 5978. Right. We get this. We're gonna get a wave two back here again into the support. Another one, wave four, and five. That's all we'll be looking at. This is what our target is. And next week, I think Monday, we should get a confirmation that if we get a dip and a solid move coming from there, that'll confirm our wave one, right? This is our primary bullish scenario, right? So let me just take a screenshot of this. And let me just mark it as well so that everybody knows primary bullish scenario. Right, this kind of aligns with everything what we have looked into Tesla or Bitcoin or coin or MSTR. This kind of aligns with those things and Amazon. And if Nvidia makes that another 130 low or something like that, then from there we can see 5 waves as well. So this kind of aligns with a lot of things, right? So that's why I've been focusing much more on this one rather than calling this top here a top, because what we have got till now is a choppy behavior. It's not an impulse yet. It's not an impulse until let me just take a screenshot and paste it in the commentary for now so that we don't lose it. Um, or 1 second. Uh, where is go commentary? Here. All right, so that's a primary bullish scenario. Now, where it can go bearish, and again, I'm not thinking about that right now. If that happens, we'll have to capitulate on most of our positions, which is where we get a deep red candle here like this on Monday. Right, that will change things. Again, I mean, hopefully not, no expectations like that as such. But if this happens, then we have a deep problem, right? Then this is not a 4. Like I said before, this is our line in the sand for bulls. This is our wave 1, wave 2. We have been looking at 3, 4, and 5. But if it starts getting into this area of wave 1, which is, we start getting a very harsh sell-off, and it doesn't stop at that level of 5773 or so. It keeps going deeper. Then it breaks this channel, and then potentially then we start looking at this as a wave 3 basically, and it's not going to stop there then if it's wave 3, right? So if it's wave 3, then you have this as 1 and 2, and this is ongoing 3. Probably do some 161% retracement or extension, not retracement. Let's just see where it comes. If this is in presumed top, and this is 161% at least. So yeah, so we're looking at this candle going at least into 5552 or something like that, right? So again, not an expectation, but something that we need to be aware of, right? Because we are at a point where it needs to bounce. If the bounce does not come and the sell continues, then we have a problem. All right, and then this 5 will complete. We have talked about this before as well, and once this 5 completes, then we are looking at wherever it comes. It comes here. I think probably do a bottom here at somewhere around 5400. Then we are looking at building up move up. A move up will be somewhere coming to this particular area, which is 5822, right where we close today, because this is a kind of a support, and now you can look at it as a head and shoulder. And time and again, I say that head and shoulder really fails in wave 4. So this would be another example where you are forming a head and shoulder, and in wave 4 they kind of do a sweep of liquidity and make it as a trap, and then they just run. That was the bullish scenario that we talked about. And if this is an end of the wave here, and the top is in, let's say I call it as primary bearish scenario. Right, and the top is in somewhere here, then this is not an ABC move, and what will happen will break down to that particular level of 5780 or 5773. There will be a bounce. The bounce will only be touching 5820 or 5823, somewhere around this area, right? Or 5826, whatever that number is. I think around the same number, 5820, let's say 2025. There will be a retest, and it will just fail. It'll just fail, and will continue to kind of go deeper, right? So this is what this candle really means, this red candle. So this is an expectation on Monday that if we do not rally overnight with futures, uh, right? So if we do not rally overnight with futures, uh, and there is a dip, then the expectation is that the dip should, happen early in the initial balance, or probably even before cash open. And right at the cash open, we start rallying. We break this 5822 from this dip, and we move upwards to the number of 5916, right? At least, and if it can do more, it can do that one, right? So that was the bullish one, and this is your bearish one, where 5822 or 5825 becomes your resistance, and we are going down. This, if this path comes, then I'll have to remove SPXL, probably take a stop loss in maybe another position where we'll have to see, because other way, the only way to survive that would be just to keep that position and then add, at very lows, whenever that five waves end, and then we are looking for a bounce. It can take a month. If you have that much of patience, you can do that. I probably would take a stop loss and see if I can go short, or something like that. That would be one way to go about it. But this is your primary bearish scenario. Right now, these are the easy ones to track, right? These are the easy ones to track in a way. Okay, you are ending the wave four. This is head and shoulder. You did a sweep. It came out to be false. 5822 is recaptured. You start moving up, right? Pretty clean and clear. Then this one is where, you dip and you cannot recapture. That point starts. This neckline becomes a resistance, and you start going down. Again, pretty easy to understand. Now, I was talking about something else as well in the chat, and that's not something which I am looking into. I just saw some something on X, and I was just intrigued to see what people are talking about. That was like, okay, you get this kind of dip, and you start looking at a bounce. A bounce is again very choppy. Just do a three-wave move up, and then you keep coming down here, or maybe lower, or something like that, right? So I'm not kind of right now thinking about anything like this, but just so that you are kind of aware, and how to look into things. Again, if you get first impulse move, that's great, right? It's very similar to the primary bullish scenario, the first action that you see here, that okay, you get the dip of 5780, 5773, and it bounces back again to the level that I shared, that was this 5920 level, right? You get the dip at 2 as well. Now, of course, we'll start assuming that it's R1 2 3 4 5, right? Something like what we had in the bullish scenario, right? So this is going to happen, but what will happen again is that in this scenario, you'll have a resistance somewhere coming, right? You'll do a three-wave move up, and somewhere in this area of 5977, you'll start getting restricted again. So something to keep in mind, that if, because we get into those emotions when we know that okay, wave 3 is starting, and then we start doing multiple modifications into that, whether it's a 1 2 1 2 or whatnot, right? So you can start looking at, okay, oh, it got restricted here again at 5977, right? Whatever that number was, 5977, right? Could it be 1 2 1 2 and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, that can happen. I'm not saying that cannot happen, but you have to be careful about something like a corrective move to keep on going for a longer term than you expect. And if a level like this, where you have a typical resistance coming as a downtrend resisting, it's always good to either you do hedge puts, or you take profit and see if this area holds again for it to be a 1 2 1 2, or it starts breaking this prior to go lower, right? So something to keep in mind as a midway scenario, where you don't exactly um, get the primary bullish or the bearish scenarios, which are a little easier to track in terms of impulse moves. but something more corrective throughout the month of January, probably including some portion of February, right? So yeah, these are the a few things that we are looking at, and when you will kind of look at overall, you'll say, oh yeah, this looks like another flag going on, here, right, ending a little lower. Then we'll talk about other expectations that, okay, what does this look like? Could it be like this is another, like this whole thing was a five-wave move, and let's say, something like this. This was a five-wave move, and all what you're doing is an ABC. Now that kind of makes it as an phenomenally, bullish move where you have an A, or ABC, like you have an A here, from here. I made a higher than before. That's fine. We can look into expanded flat or something like that. Probably an A here, and this is another B and a C, right? That means that a correction like this can be extremely bullish in a way that, while we are looking at, in our primary bullish scenario, that you make this five and then we have, big correction in a later Q1 time frame. This may turn into like an extremely bullish scenario where you did this wave one and two. If this wave one two is complete, then what happens next? Then you have another wave starting from there. Again, not my primary choice, but I just wanted to bring it up because I saw something like this, or similar to this. Something that we should keep in mind, just in case we do not get the bullish action, as in a primary thing, primary scenario, but it does not give us the end result that we are looking at. And repeating it again, our end result was where this continues to go and give me a new high at 6200 or above, right? So something like this to be then tracked in that case. Let me just see if any of you had any questions on this. This could be confusing. Any questions? Or this is super clear? Okay, good deal. If it's clear, it's clear. Um, let's look into QQQ in the meanwhile. I haven't even checked it all day today. So again, I mean, now you look into it. I've been saying about this 503. I'll check on the bunch. I've been talking about this 503 zone to be tested, and today's low was 503.92. And let me delete this, where we have marked it right now is this high 502, or actually this high, or this point. So 501.83 or 503, these are like good levels here, which we talked about before. And so far, again, nothing has been invalidated, right? So that's where I'm not trying to shift too much into bearish mode or anything like that, because it just fell into, or in fact it didn't even touch those lows which I mentioned in the weekly post, right? That okay, 5780 is a real risk. That's what we have been talking about. That for any longs that we take, that's a risk that it can go there, right? Below that, we'll figure it out if we need to take a stop loss or not. But if you now see on QQQ, it just came onto the right level as well, or a close, right? Will it do a little bit low to just test below this previous pivot low right here, right? So this is your demand zone. Uh, so you have few of them. This is your demand zone from where the rally started, previously tested and moved on. And on a smaller level, even this one is um, this particular chop here, right? We've popped up, tested, popped up, right? It just tested that demand zone. So we are very close to all the demands and all those liquidity levels, if you see, right? And until we start trading below 495 and start, making that impulse move, We don't even have a head and shoulder here in QQQ, by the way, like we have in SPX, right? So the expectation again remains the same. That any dip, any more lower dip even into this demand, it's acceptable. And when you look into 38% of this whole move, it comes right there into 501 area, right in the middle, right? So that's all what we are looking to be tested. So 38% is very common for wave 4. It's not even tested yet, so there's no need to be panic from that is this the top, right? That's what panic means. So we bought our position somewhere in the middle, somewhere here, not on QQQ but on SPX. If we get new low and that kind of holds and bounces, we can add on to it, or we'll just you know move back into our level without taking much time. So I don't have a problem either way. Probably can add some calls as well if we get price action of our choice in the bullish case, which I explained before. Right? Again, the idea is that we go up and make this new high, complete this 5 waves, and then we can talk about a larger correction. This kind of aligns, like I said, with other things which we have been talking about. So that's QQQ. Or talk about TLT. So TLT again, back into the demand, right? We haven't seen a pop that we would like to see yet. And if you just look into from the yields perspective, yields are just above the previous high here, closing the gap, right? What I would like to see really is a reversal from here, right? And I haven't been taking any action on bonds. My expectation is that the yields should reverse from here, but if they keep climbing, that's a problem. So let's see if on Monday we can get a reversal candle on this. If you look from even from the count perspective, a few ways to count it. I mean, we can look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 5 waves should get a retracement. So that's one way of looking into it. If you don't want to even look into it and say, oh, this was wave 1, wave 2, and this is going up as wave 3, still, I mean, in this wave 3, this has completed like 5 waves as well. So again, my expectation is that come down to 4.49, and the best case was looking at here, right? That come down at least here. If this was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we have been aiming for, and of course the Fed rate cuts has made no impact to this, which is quite unusual. Of course, that Fed cuts 1% and the yields keep rising. If we start looking at, where did they start cutting? I think it was somewhere in October when they started cutting, right? October, November, December. We have moved almost 0.77 up, then going down. So that's kind of a problem here, right? So let's see what happens. It's in the supply zone. This is where your supply is, kind of getting up there, closing the gap. So I want to see a reversal come Monday on this. This gets a reversal. Maybe this pops in the morning, and that kind of creates a sell to get the new low on the indexes, and this starts sharply selling off, and we start seeing a bounce on the indexes, right? So that's the theory. Ideally, like I said, this should have concluded today. That was my expectation, that NFP would create a sell and probably will get a bounce. We got a bounce, but again, the gap did not close, and the bounce did not cross above 5860. So it kind of landed into no man's land at 58. Close was 5826 or 5827, right? No man's land. Uh, I know we were counting in the group as probably this is a wave two, which it kind of held as in a wave two area. When you look into it, okay, it had a higher high above this particular one, right? And it broke the structure back into, I think it kind of landed into 78%. But again, overnight futures on Sunday will tell us that whether this is a wave two. If this is a wave two, we'll already see a rally coming up, which means the gap can stay open. Otherwise, the other scenarios which I explained, that it goes and sweep that liquidity for the US 500 as well by going below 5796 for it. Could be 5780 or so, and then we start the rally up, right? So we'll see what happens um, on Sunday night. Anything else we want to talk about? All right. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday.